Are you thinking about buying a home this year? As we head into spring of 2025, it is a great time to start thinking about your plans and start putting together a strategy if you're thinking about buying a home in the next 6 to 12 months. If you don't know me, my name is Cindy Bennett. I'm an associate broker with Maison Real Estate Boutique. I've been selling real estate in the Richmond, Virginia area for the last 20 plus years, and I work with a ton of buyers. Here are the 5 things I think you should know or do before you start that process. Number 1, this is gonna seem real obvious coming from a realtor, but I think you should find a realtor that you like, that you feel comfortable with, that you feel like aligns with the way that you want to communicate, the way that you want to look. And again, sometimes the most important thing is that you feel comfortable asking questions. If you have questions, that you feel comfortable calling that person, texting, whatever way you like to communicate, you feel comfortable in that manner, and you know that they're always going to be responsive and looking out for you. That's half the battle. Number 2, getting your budget together. This kind of goes hand in hand with number 3, which is finding a good lender. Part of the reason I put the finding a realtor first is often you can get a better deal, you can get a better result by going with one of your realtor recommended lenders because they're people that they've worked with repeatedly, they have a proven track record, they take their call as well as your call, and it just kind of streamlines that process. So while you can always find a lender before, and you don't have to use one of my lenders, having a resource for people that your agent knows are great people, tremendously helpful, so much easier than just Googling lenders in your area. So number 3 is find a lender. Find a lender, get a pre-approval. You do not want to go looking at houses until you know what your numbers are. So again, sit down, make a budget, know what you can afford, know what you want to afford. They're not always the same. And make sure that those numbers line up with what you actually can and want to do. And get an idea of what your closing costs and other fees are going to be, because that can sometimes be a real unpleasant surprise. Once you've got all your numbers together, the lender has gotten enough information to give you a good, solid pre-approval letter, you're ready to start looking. But before you go out looking, get your list together of the things that you really have to have or really want to have. But especially if it's your first home, be prepared to either trash half the things on that list or be flexible and prioritize that list so you know what things really, really matter to you. Especially with a lot of first-time buyers, I find they get real attached to the house and don't look so much at the neighborhood around them. So make sure that you have a good idea of where you want to be and know that, okay, maybe I'm willing to take an older kitchen to get in the neighborhood that I want to be because that's where I want to be for the next 4 to 5 years. Be a little bit flexible because, interest rates are a little high. We're still in low inventory. There's just not a million choices out there, and you want to make sure that you're prioritizing the things that are truly, truly important to you. Finally, make sure that you're flexible on all of those things. I know I've used the word flexible 100 times in this video, but it really is a watchword when you're looking for a new home. To recap, the 5 things that you want to do before you start looking: find a great realtor that you're comfortable with. Make a budget so you have a really good idea of what you can afford and where you're comfortable, so that if you love to go on vacation, you can still do that. You don't want to end up house poor and living paycheck to paycheck for the next 2 to 3 years while you're getting adjusted to your home, if you don't have to. Number 3, get a great lender and get a pre-approval because no one's going to accept your offer without it. And while things have really increased in speed over the last decade or so in getting all that stuff together, you generally can't get a pre-approval from a lender who doesn't know you at all in 10 minutes. You're going to need a couple of days to get your information together. to get a solid letter. Make a list. Make sure you know what you like, know what you need, and know what you're willing to sacrifice. Prioritize that list so that when you're looking, you're a little flexible. And make sure that you like the location where you're looking. Don't just get the HGTV looking house in a really crummy neighborhood where you're not going to feel comfortable, because trust me, I love my house too, but if I felt miserable every time I walked outside, I would not be happy. Better to sacrifice a couple of things on the house side and get where you really want to be. But all of those things we can put together in a strategy for you to help you find the house of your dreams, or daydreams, or the house that's going to get you to the house of your dreams. Depends on where you are in the process. So give me a call. I'd love to talk to you. Reach out by email, by message, by phone. Let's chat. If you're in the Richmond area, my name is Cindy Bennett. I'm an associate broker with Maison Real Estate Boutique, and I would love to help you find your next home.